In 1933, Max Planck had a choice. He was faced with a choice. Did he oversee the Aryanization of his physics team or not? So he was under enormous pressure. Enormous pressure. And a year ago, I would have said, I would have taken the decision that Max Planck made. So listen to what he did. So Max Planck, 1889, I think, does his doctorate under Alexander von Brill. And it's the beginning of a succession of brilliant people who complete their doctorates under Alexander von Brill in a really sweet line, including Johannes Stein in 1914. Max Planck has built a team from that position. He's raised himself up to the head of physics. He's the managing director of physics. So he's in charge of sorting things out. He can't really be that much involved in the physics itself now because he's running the department, but he's got to know enough about what people talk to him about so that he understands it, and he does. He's in a brilliant position. So in 1933, the Nazis arrive and say, kick out all the Jews. It's the story we're told. And so Planck has to decide to do that or not to do it. Now, I would have thought that I would have done the same as him a year ago. I would have done my best for my team. Now, I've got people underneath me that I've known for many, many years. Professional relationships and friendships have been built with the people underneath me, and I want to protect those people's lives. If I can manage this carefully, I may be able to find positions for the Jewish physicists in other countries. I act fast and move them quietly, carefully, to try to save life. And I felt that was a reasonable decision for him to have made, because I would have made it. I look at the decision now and I say, no, Max, that was the wrong decision, and I wouldn't have made that decision if I'd truly understood the science as Planck did. So the decision a year ago I would have made would have been as a manager and a human being. Now it's made as a scientist and understanding what we're looking at, the power of the control of the human psyche through the corruption of nuclear energy. So Planck has decided to continue with his project, knowing that what they have is the power to control the human psyche using the corrupted power of nuclear energy. And the history of Germany then, from that moment, through Planck's decision, is the corruption of a society towards societal psychopathy, where they murder their neighbours. And that is the world that we're living in. It is the same pressure that we are living in, under, because it has been so razor sharp, so rapier placed inside us. We think we're behaving as individuals, and we're coping with the pressures that the German people coped with individually. Now, we've been manipulated into the position where this is now into the open. And so that the power to control the human psyche through the corrupted nuclear energy is now in Israel. Israel is a nuclear power, and it's not about bombs. It's about the corruption of energy. Okay? And it's in everything. Literally in everything. The last 100 years that we've been pushed into. So we have no choice but to live through this awful drama that's taking place at the moment. And what's going to happen is it's going to get worse and worse and worse until you make a choice to stop it. And go back to Max Planck and the history of physics, and imagine a world where Max Planck had said, no, No. We lied to you in 1915 when we gave you Einstein. Dear world, we lied to you in 1915. There was a war on. We had a means to build an atomic super bomb, and we were going to keep that a secret, so we gave you Einstein to mask the work that Levy had done at the completion of Alexander Brill's work about nuclear energy. And we've kept that secret until now, and I've tried to, because I thought that we could do it for good and for God. But now I see I'd made a mistake, says Max. The rise of these people who have now pushed people out. Levy has been murdered. Was going to be murdered, sorry. Levy was murdered in 36. So I'm certain murdered now. No reason why, I'm just saying it. Levy's murdered in 36. Planck's going, he can see what's going to happen. So he confesses. That's the world that we then grew up in. So when I was born in 1964, wow, man, it was the space age already. The space age had already begun in 64. But instead I've lived this life, where we've degraded. Just degraded into nothing, rubbish, in our intellects. But we haven't. We really haven't. This is the trick. We are so smart. Just go click in your mind and turn it off. And let's go back in time to 33. And let's stop it. And let's change the history of the world. Using the pure power of nuclear energy, which is free. Chaim's already given it to you. Rambling, I know. It's hard. Really hard. You should try carrying this burden. You know? Of this knowledge, knowing what I know. Not about the detail. This doesn't matter. I know how reality works. If I had the tools, we would know how to run the world. And we would be running it. With our friends from out of time. So I'll try and do that again better another time perhaps, but that's for today. Welcome to New Earth.